When I design a beer, it can start in many different forms. I start with one aspect of what I think the most important part of that beer is, the top of the statue is per se, and then I build down from there, and then I'm like, okay, now I build the base around that. A lot of times I want to have a certain style, and then I want to pick off that and say what kind of style I want this to be, and we're just trying to make really clean, consistent, factual beers, meaning not necessarily traditionally, but what should be for that definition of that style of beer.
We try and stay focused on the beer that's brewed to style is really high quality, really consistent beer, so that when we're selling to a restaurant or to a bar, they know what they're going to get, they know they're going to have great beer that they're going to be able to sell over and over and stand behind.
Brewing Project is kind of a funny thing that we came up with. It was kind of what we had as a working title. I didn't want to be just a traditional brewery. I didn't want to be just an experimental brewery. I want to be somewhere in the middle, so you can do a lot of different things.
Beer and making beer is a process, not just a set thing you do. You're always trying to improve. We want to make the best beer possible and make great beer.
The great part about RoHa is it's a collaborative sort of environment. You know, being in business with talent is the thing that takes you from good to great.
I was neighbors and great friends with Josh Stern. And so when I was homebrewing all the time, he was at my house. We were talking about beer. We were experiencing different beers together. He and I were just having a beer one day, and I was explaining to him that I was going to start a brewery, and I was working with Chris Haas, and he stopped me and said, "The brewing legend from Desert Edge. I want to be a part of that."
The thing about Chris Haas is born greatness when it comes to brewing. What he does with craft beer is exceptional. Every time he puts out a new beer, it's the best beer.
I love when people say, oh, I really like that beer you make, because it's like I put some joy into their life, you know, and in some small way, just in a 12-ounce can of beer. So I always say beer is love, and I think that's part of it, you know, like when someone says, oh, I love your beer, I'm like, that's what it is. Beer is love.
There's a lot of good beer in the market, but when you put your mouth on a great beer, it's going to create a memory. And it's that memory that will cause you to come back. Once you've had great, good isn't good enough. That's the difference.